All right, you guessed it. We've got another shoe project complete, and this one I'm pretty psyched about. What we've got here is a Nike Air Jordan 1 Freddy Krueger. Whoa, almost dropped it. So apologize in advance. This is probably going to be kind of a long video, so if you don't want to watch it, skip on down to whatever's next in your feed. Because there's a lot to talk about. So, backstory on this shoe. First off, Nike released a Freddy Krueger, or Nike produced a Freddy Krueger SB Dunk in like 2007. New Line Cinema caught wind of it before they were released and sent a cease and desist. So they were never actually distributed, but like 30 pair, 100 pair, nobody really knows how many, had already been shipped or were taken by employees. Anyway, so there are some out there, somewhere between like 30 and 100 pair. They're one of the most sought after shoe. They sell for like $30,000. I think the Kardashians have a pair or something. It's crazy. Anyway, a lot of people try and reproduce this shoe and have done their own designs. And then recently I saw a guy named The Surgeon. He does like complete shoe reconstructions. He takes apart the shoes, takes the uppers off, creates his own with, different materials. He made this really cool pair using kind of like a sweater material for Freddy's sweater with nice texture. It was awesome. I kind of played off that for this shoe. So this shoe was for a really good friend of mine. Actually, kind of the reason I'm into this. He's like a big sneakerhead and kind of got me into shoes. And right when I started doing this, he reached out and said, "Hey, I got a new pair of Air Jordan 1s. Do you want to do something with them?" So I said, "Yep, great." I had them here for a while trying to figure out what to do. We went back and forth. And then as the seasons started changing, he said, "Hey man, I'd always wanted a Halloween shoe." So that's about time I saw the pair that The Surgeon had done. And I said, okay, I'm going to try and recreate kind of that look, but with paint instead of actual like sweater and corduroy. So he was down with it, and this is what I came up with. So this originally was an Air Jordan 1 bleached coral. So this had a lot of interesting and challenging materials to work with because unlike just like a straight Air Jordan, the toe mud guard, all the lace area, basically anything that's brown up here is kind of like a cracked leather. It came as a cracked leather, so I didn't know how well the paint would take to that or what the process would be. The tongue is nylon. The sides are just regular leather. We've got suede on the heel, and I did the soles this time, so rubber. So all kinds of different things to work with. And so I dove in and just started at them to try and figure it out. So I think the process, if I can remember, took me a while to do, but I started out, did a ton of airbrushing on this shoe, more than I'd ever done. Almost the entire shoe was mostly airbrushed. So started up, I taped off the suede and the sock liner, and then basically primered the whole thing, sprayed both shoes, primered them. From there, I mixed up a bone and a beige to do all the beige areas of the shoe. Did that, that's all that cracked leather part, sprayed that, and then went back in and kind of hit little certain areas with a little bit of a darker tone or tint that I was using to kind of give it like a little bit of a weathered, kind of beat up look for these Freddy Kruegers like there. And then I went through, did kind of the blood splatter all over both shoes. Did that with a brush. And then from there, I think I sprayed the tongue. That was nylon. Just taped that off. This whole shoe was so much tape. I went through the tape ball when I was done was insane. Next, I did the sides. So I sprayed all the sides and everything red after masking off all the tan parts. And then taped off the stripes, came back, did the green all over both shoes, peeled that tape off to reveal the stripes. And at this point, it was starting to look really cool. But it was like, it almost looked like it was clean. It kind of looked like a Gucci shoe or something. So I had an idea. What I wanted to do was lay in like real thin lines horizontally to kind of give it like a cable knit sweater type feel or a corduroy feel. And I tested that. I just couldn't get it right. It looked too perfect. It was hard to kind of make it just a hair blurry. So instead, I went back over all those areas with the airbrush, with black in the airbrush, and just kind of hit up in the corner, just kind of giving it a little bit of a gritty look. And man, I was really happy with the results on that. It made just everywhere the toe, basically anywhere the black and green was, I just kind of hit those areas with a little bit of light black and just kind of gritted it up. Next up, I think I did the swoosh. That was the first metallic paint I'd painted. So I mixed, I think, a pewter and silver or something like that to give it that look. And I hit that with the black as well. So that's kind of like the blade from Freddy's fingernails. And then I moved on to the suede. I'd never done any suede, so you can't really paint suede. You have to dye it. This is the first dyeing I'd done. Trying to match the color was pretty difficult. So just kind of mixed up that dye, put that on. It's really thin. You actually have to mix it with a couple different dyes, and then some like mousse, like hair mousse, to thicken it, give it a little bit of a thicker texture to paint on there. Next, I did the tabs on the tongue. So this was fun. I cut up some stencils, did some custom stencils for Elm Street, and applied them onto those areas, and then sprayed that with the red, peeled that off. And then for the first time too, I did like a little bit of custom branding on the inside. Did the Fresh Coast Kicks logo, if you can see it there. So that was fun. And then I think the last thing before sealing it all was I dyed the midsole to kind of age them, give them a little bit of a dirty look. So again, mixed up the dye, put that on the midsole. It gave it's a pretty common thing people do to their shoes, give it like kind of that aged look. This came out a hair darker than I would have wanted, but not bad for a first time. And then I forgot, as I finished, I actually dyed the shoelaces. I hadn't done that before, so mixed up some paint with some Too Soft additive, dunked those in, wrung them out, hung them up for a day. I think they came out pretty good. It's a pretty good match, and just helps the look of the shoe overall to kind of come together. So this was like a totally fun project. Like I said, it was tons of airbrush work, so I really feel like I stepped that up. I would say of all the projects I've done, this is probably the most imprecise, or has the most flaws. Every time you do shoe, or at least when I do, there's always going to be some mistakes, some things that slip through the tape, but you want to make it as perfect as possible. You go back and you fix all those issues, and it's usually not much trouble. But this one, because I had done the airbrushing of the black, and that it became really difficult to kind of fix all of the little issues. Same with the dyeing. It was a little splotchy here and there. I really couldn't go back and fix that. I tried in a few areas, but you kind of get what you get with the dye. But all in all, pretty happy with these. I really wish these were my shoes, because I would totally rock these in the fall. So maybe I'll have to go back and make myself a pair. So I hope my buddy really digs these. The good thing is he should have some Halloween shoes to wear for the rest of his life. Bad news is I did miss Halloween this year. I was trying to get them in so we would have them for Halloween. I just got started on them a little too late, and they took me quite a while to do. That's it for the Air Jordan 1 Freddy Krueger, or as I'm calling it, the Elm Street. And hope you liked it. Take care. Peace.